Hi, my name's Chris Bailey, and I was the director on The Parting Gift. This is going to be a short training where we're going to take you through the process of using The Parting Gift short film and the app to have a conversation with anyone about your faith. We're going to show the film first, and then we're going to take you through step by step each of the different slides and explain the best way to use it. So hopefully you'll feel really empowered afterwards and really ready to go out and give it a try yourself. So without further ado, let's get started. Now the first thing you want to do is download the app onto your device. The Parting Gift works really well with iPhones, iPads, or any Android phone or tablet. You find it by going into either the Google Play Store if you have an Android device, or by going into the Apple App Store if you have an Apple device. Just search The Parting Gift, it'll come up, and make sure you're connected to a Wi-Fi signal before you download because the file size is quite large. It's about 250 megabytes. Okay, so the first thing to talk about is the approach. How do you actually start a conversation with someone? One way to do it is to just say, hey, I've got this short film. Would you like to watch it? It explains what I believe in my faith. Do you want to tell me what you think? Just invite people to engage with the short film. It's really non-confrontational, and it's a great way to get a conversation going about your faith. This intro screen that you've got here shows the first shot of the film, and it's playing on loop. It also says how long the film is. And we've done it this way so that you can easily walk up to someone and give them a taste of what they're about to watch. It's a way of incentivizing people to engage with you. At least they can look at this and see that the film looks interesting. If you don't know what to say and you can't remember what was the line, how do I start a conversation, there's actually a bit of a tooltip inside the app itself to help. So you open up the dashboard icon here, and you'll get this little statement up at the top. And basically it says, here's a great way to get started. This is a short film that helps explain Christianity. Would you like to watch it and tell me what you think? So that's a little tip. If you forget what to say, just open up the dashboard and read that. Now, once you've got someone who said that they want to watch the film and have a conversation with you, what's the next step? It's pretty simple. You can actually click on the share button, or you can actually click just on the movie trailer there. And it brings you to this screen, which is going to ask how many people you're sharing with. This tool is designed for this one-on-one kind of conversation, so it works best with just one person. You can go all the way up to 5 people. It's not as ideal in that scenario. So you go to the next slide, and the next slide says, how would you rate your interest in Jesus? Now at this point, what you want to do is actually hand your device over to them so that they can actually interact with it and input what they think their interest in Jesus is. It's a great chance to get a sense of where they're at when you're starting the conversation. Now, if you've selected that you're sharing with multiple people, you'll notice that at the top it says, person number 1, rate your interest in Jesus. And then when they do that and go to the next slide, it'll say person number 2, rate your interest in Jesus. And this is designed so that you can then pass it to the next person, they can rate their interest, so you can get an input from each person you're sharing with before you go on to the next step. Now the next slide is where you actually show the film. So when you come to that, there's a little reminder text at the bottom just saying, hey, make sure your volume's turned up and the mute switch is turned off. And once everyone's ready to go with their headphones on, you can press play. You'll see that right there on the screen, and the film will open up and begin to play. So now we'll stop and watch the film. I hope you really enjoy it, and after that I'll continue and explain how to finish out sharing your faith using the app. Now that you're done watching the film, take a moment and ask them, what did they think about it? Did they enjoy it? Did they like it? Just give them a chance to share a bit of their view on what they thought of the film. And then you want to ask the next question. So make sure you're on the next slide, and you see the question which says, can you see any connection between this film and the message of Jesus? And there's just two answers, yes or no. See what they respond. Most people will say no. Even a lot of Christians will say no, not be able to see the symbolism. You may not have been able to see it, and that's okay. But if they say yes, it's a great opportunity to ask, what did they see? Explain it. Tell me about the connection that you saw. A lot of times this will give you some real insight as to how they view Christianity or any experience they may have had in the past. So use that and talk about it. Have a conversation. It's really easy to go through the parting gift and just read everything and end up not having a chance where they actually share what they think. So the more opportunities you have for that, the better. And this is a great one. Now, if they say no, they don't see a connection between this film and the message of Jesus, then ask them, can I explain it to you? Now, I've never had anyone say no to that question because they're curious. They want to find out what's the symbolism. And so you go to the next slide. Now, when you come to the next slide, you're presented with 6 images. And each of these images is a symbol from the film that helps to explain the message of Jesus. So you just start with the first one, and when you touch it, it goes full screen, and you're presented with this text. It says, the man. If you touch that, it'll open up, and you get even more detail. So what I'll do now is I'm just going to walk through each of these slides and read them to you, just like I would if I was sharing with someone. So the man represents God, and God is forever pursuing us in love. The woman represents us. We are often unaware that God is near to us. Now, the cab fare represents the price God has paid. Many believe that being a good person is all that matters to God, but God gave His only Son and paid a huge price so that we could know Him. Understanding and responding to what He has done through Jesus Christ is vital if we want to know what actually matters to God. Next is the flowers. Now, the flowers represent this conversation. So God is continually reaching out to us with expressions of His love. Often we dismiss these expressions of love because we don't believe He cares about us. For example, this conversation is an expression of God's love for you. You might dismiss it like the woman brushes the flower petals away. The next one is the call, and this represents God calling you. Every day we have the chance to respond to God's tug at our hearts. The final slide is the new flowers, and these represent the fact that God won't give up. If you choose to walk away from this conversation and think little more about what we've talked about, I can assure you God will continue to pursue you. Don't wait until it's too late. He has a purpose and a plan for your life today. Once you've gone through all these slides and explained the gospel and read the information, it's a great chance to stop and ask 2 particular questions. The first one is to ask, have you ever heard the message of Jesus explained like this before? And give them a chance to talk about that and respond. Another great question is, do you have any other experience with Christianity? A question that comes up often when you're sharing your faith with the film is, why does the young man show up late? If he represents God, does that mean that God's late? Now, the first thing to explain in this situation is that the story is not a perfect metaphor. But then it's a great chance to ask the question if they've ever felt like God has shown up late in their life. Often people that ask this question have experienced something in their life where they felt like God wasn't there, and it can give them a great chance to talk about it. Now, it's really important at this part just to listen in a very non-judgmental way. You're demonstrating God's love to them in this moment, so don't come down on any ideas they have you may not agree with. Just let them share, because you're sharing a lot too, and it's important to be fair and equal in this. Now, on the next slide, you'll see it says, Person 1, re-rate your interest in Jesus. This is a great chance to watch and see the change that's happened for them in this process. So pass them the iPad and let them move the dot in whatever way they feel like is appropriate. So they may not move it at all, and that's okay, but often you'll find that people do move up. This is really encouraging because they may not want to meet again, or they may not want to accept Christ at the end of this, but at least you walk away knowing that you have made a positive impact and helped someone take a step closer in their interest in Jesus. So we've come at last to the final slide. Now, this is the point where they can indicate whether or not they want some kind of follow-up. So the first option is, I would like to meet again to talk more about this. If they indicate that, make sure you write down their contact details and arrange a time to catch up with them one-on-one to talk more. The next option is, I would like to try a short study about Jesus. Now, this is a great chance to invite them along to a course like Christianity Explained course or an Alpha course. The next option is, I would like to become a follower of Jesus. This, of course, is the most exciting option. If they select this, you can pray with them right there to accept Christ. The next option is, I'm already a Christian and I'd like to get more involved. Now, this might be someone who isn't involved in a local church yet, but they're a Christian already. This is a great chance to invite them along to whatever group it is you're involved in. Of course, the last option, which is thanks, not interested right now, that's the one if they don't want to have any kind of follow-up. But, you may have seen them increase their interest in Jesus, so you can walk away encouraged that you have had a positive impact. Even if they don't indicate a change at all, you can know that you've done a great job of trusting God, stepping out by faith to share your faith, and now you can just leave the results to Him. Now, when you return to the dashboard, there's a couple of extra features here that you might be interested in knowing about. Now, as we add to the app and expand it, we're going to add more videos and more information on our website. To get to that, all you have to do is click on the Learn button, which you see next to the Share button. The Learn button will automatically take you out of the app over to a web browser, and it'll load up the website. And there you can find any testimonies or frequently asked questions or additional tutorials to help with new features that we might add. What's most important to understand, though, is when you click the dashboard button, you're presented with your personal statistics. You'll be told how many times you've shared the gospel. It'll also tell you how many points they've increased in their interest in Jesus. Now, this is an encouraging way just to keep track of your own personal progress and how you're doing. Down on the bottom, you'll find 2 bar graphs. And this is showing how many times the gospel's been shared around the world using the parting gift. You'll notice also this bar graph that's underneath the movie trailer. Now, this bar graph is there to help motivate you towards the goal of sharing 30 times. That's a goal that we like to encourage people when they download the app to try and set themselves the objective of sharing 30 times in a year. The next button is View Map. Now, this takes you to a separate screen which shows you a map of all the GPS points where you've actually shared the gospel. And you can actually see the results of those shares listed on the right-hand side. And this is just a fun tool that can help you keep track of where you've been. Well, that brings us to the end of our training. I hope you found it really informative and helpful, and that you feel really empowered now to go out and share your faith using the parting gift. Remember, just step out in faith and leave the results to God. Trust Him to do the work in people's hearts. It's up to us just to get out and share.